Hi, my name is Jordan Elsass, and you're listening to Superman and Lois TV Talk.
Welcome back, everybody, to Superman and Lois TV Talk. I'm Derek.
I'm Frank.
And I'm Robin.
And we are joined by a special guest today. Some of you may know this individual. I think you guys may know him. Mr. Jordan Elsass. Jordan, thank you so much for being on the show. We appreciate you joining us today.
No problem, Derek. I appreciate you guys having me.
Man, it's how's is it being back in Vancouver this week?
Man, it's it's a place. It's a place, that's for sure. It's rainy and kind of dreary, and I mean, I don't know, it's weird. It's this weird, like, I want to say like a dichotomy between it's sort of depressing, but also at the same time very cozy, and
yes,
it does feel like home now. I would say, like, when I was here last year, especially like really deep in the midst of COVID, it was just awful, like all around. But now that I'm back and we kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel, and people are starting to kind of finally chill out a little bit, I feel like it's definitely going to be a better year. So that's the hope, anyways. But
yeah, definitely. Well, and you're from Texas, right?
Right.
Yeah. So that's a big. I'm from Mississippi. That's a large jump.
Massive.
Culture shock and everything.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, so what is your history with Superman, like growing up? A little birdie told me you like Smallville. You were a Smallville fan back in the day?
Huge Smallville fan. I watched all the seasons. I watched all 10 seasons probably twice when I was younger. And honestly, I gotta say, I don't know if they're still on Hulu. Last time I checked, it was, but I would definitely go and watch it all the way through again. I think if I it was a great show. But my history in general with Superman, I'd say, I was definitely more of a Batman guy, but I was always DC through and through. That I can say proudly. But I don't necessarily think that I was ever a huge Superman fan. But it's funny that I even watched Smallville because of that. I think like it is weird to me that I sort of a coincidence that I did grow up watching it, because I didn't really read any comics. Superman was never like Superman Returns, and even like Christopher Reeves, like the very early Donner films. I wasn't that big of a fan. My parents were, and they were like, "Oh, it's a classic," and I'd seen them all, but I wasn't necessarily the biggest fan up until Smallville, which is I discovered probably when I was about 10. I think they'd already come out with all the seasons, and 10 or 11, I started watching it. And I mean, that's pretty much my history with Superman. Nice. I mean, and then I got this, and now there's it's a new chapter, I guess. But
is it random for you, like walking on? I know in the Kent farm you guys use, isn't that just a facade? I mean, no, actually the interior is a set, but isn't the farmhouse just a facade?
Well, it's actually the farmhouse is real. It's 100% real, but it's
right.
Probably 20 miles away from the studio where we shoot. Obviously, like you were saying, right. the interior scenes, that's a facade. Yeah. And in the way of the house was built just for this. So if you go into the house, it is basically a facade, but it's not a facade in the way of like on a studio backlot, how it's just the front. It is a complete house.
Yeah.
But yeah, the inside is not. The only parts that are real are the parts that you would visibly be able to see on camera. So I find it interesting that, for example, like you would walk into the house and it's sort of, there are areas to stand, but it's all like, it almost looks like it was gutted, like a race car or something. It looks like they took everything out, including the floors and everything. And so it's just sort of these net like steel rods going through the house. And but there's like there'll be like a little table, an end table with a vase and flowers on it and curtains, because if they're doing an exterior shot that's a little closer, you'd be able to see through the window potentially, and they have to make it look real. So I've always found that quite fascinating. On the flip side, in the studio, it's the opposite. They have to put giant sort of lit up, they have to light them up and put giant almost curtains down that are not green screen actually, but they're just these giant pictures of basically the outside of the Kent farm. So then that way, if it's, they keep it blurred so you can't see it, because obviously it's like not that real.
Yeah.
If you were there, you wouldn't be too fooled just looking out the window. But because there's rarely, if they do a shot of actually looking out the window, it's going to be at the real farmhouse. So
Right.
it is an interesting sort of situation there.
Yeah, I asked because the other Kent farm, the Smallville Kent farm, is not far from you guys. Obviously, they're in Vancouver. So, but it's an actual house and everything, and they did the same thing with the interior shots and shooting, with backdrops and everything outside.
Of
but
course.
Just kind of having that whole Smallville theme going throughout the town, throughout Langley and everywhere around there is just kind of cool. Being caught up in the Superman mythos for you guys.
It's great.
You guys definitely have some of the top talent on your show, and it shows. It shows in all sorts of ways.
Appreciate that.
And like the way that you guys all as a cast have gelled is really, really cool to see. That the core four of you really are like a family, and you and Alex really do come off like brothers in that way. Is that something that you were able to cultivate sort of off camera as well, and bring that in? Because it really seems like there's a lot of sort of give and take and ad libs that you guys bring in that give it more atmosphere.
Most definitely. I mean, I think we're really, really blessed and really lucky in that way, because I always tell people the story. Like, I don't necessarily think me and Alex would have been friends if we just met on the street. Not because we would have disliked each other at all. I just think we would have never taken the time, because we're so different. Like in real life, we're so different. And yet we're best friends. Literally this guy, like me and him are in sync. It's unreal, really. I mean, I don't think I've ever had a cast bond as close as I do to Alex. I mean, I'm very close with Alex. Tyler and Bitsy, I got to know him a lot better, even just over the past few weeks of being back. It's really good to see them again and work with them. And I just think, we spend a lot of time, all of us on set together, sort of developing that relationship. But yeah, especially me and Alex, we definitely last year, because of COVID, we're sort of almost forced to hang out, and because of that, we gave each other a chance in the way of really beyond, because, you want to be friends with everybody that you're working with, right? And usually you are, or you at least try to be, but it is different when you're really actually close, like almost beyond the work level with somebody in the cast, and you're actually choosing to hang out. It's not like, oh yeah, I'll see you at the rap party or whatever. Like, yeah, for sure, catch you later. Like, no, but it's we're actually friends, and I definitely think that made a big difference. And for that reason, I'm very thankful for COVID, because like I said, I just don't know if it would be the same dynamic in the show if it didn't feel the same in real life. If it didn't feel like we were so almost brothers in real life, I don't think it would shine through on the show quite as much. And for that reason, I think that, I see a lot of people saying, oh, I like the brothers, I like the dynamic. And I think that's probably, a pretty big contributing factor.
Do you have siblings?
I do. Yeah. I have a brother. He's 30, just turned 32.
So you have that relationship. That's something easy to play on screen.
I'd say so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we constantly talk on the show, and I know it was a lot of pressure about, I think, you go to a show called Superman and Lois, you want to just hang out with Superman and Lois, but I think Jonathan Kent is probably the heart of the show at this point. What do you think, is your favorite moment as Jonathan, being that heart of the show that you really enjoyed playing this past season?
I just enjoy seeing that. I like seeing that Jonathan is, he's patient. He's very stable. He has some stuff that he holds back and he doesn't really let his family see, because he wants to protect them. And I think more of that maybe is going to shine through in season 2. I don't want to give anything away, but I do like the character. The character grew on me. I'll admit. And I think it was also written to grow on you. And so as I started getting deeper into the season and reading more scripts, I mean, I like that he's loyal to his core and to his family. He's always going to be there no matter what. And he's a fighter. And I respect that even though he doesn't have powers, he is still, he knows what he has to sort of put himself to an even higher level because of that, and elevate himself, because he is more alike with Lois, I'd say, more in line with sort of her. It's interesting because he has sort of Superman's morals and principles and sort of taking action. But he's more like Lois in the way of he understands where he understands where he stands, in the family, and he gets that he doesn't have power, so he has to really be a badass. You know what I mean? Like I feel like he's going to learn that's something that it's going to be more and more difficult as time goes on to maintain that high standard of morality and just just being a good person, being there for his family and friends. But it's still possible, and I think his mom's a great example of that to him. So I mean, I really liked doing the scenes with you asked me what my favorite scenes like as Jonathan were. I really enjoyed doing the scenes with Bitsy, where we were discovering about her baby on this earth in season 1, and what happened with that and everything. And I mean, those were for like days after, I could feel the sort of it grips you. It can get you down, especially when you have to do that over and over, and you have to listen every time and like take it in and reprocess it every time. It's something you train yourself to do, like going over those emotions in your head. And obviously it's not the same as if it was real, but it can still take a toll, I mean, over time. But I love those kind of scenes because you're much more engaged. Obviously you're really feeling it as it happens, and working with somebody like Bitsy that can just flip that switch as well. It's, it gives you a lot to work with. It gives you a lot to bounce off of. So I mean, those personally were some of my favorite scenes, but also like at the end when, when Jordan is Zeta Row and he lifts me up, and, that was pretty fun too, because we get to go up in the air in the barn, and I mean, that's a blast, of course.
Are you a fan of stunt work at all? Is that something that you want to do more of?
I would love to. I mean, I try to do as many of my own stunts as possible. This year I've been sort of doing some football training as well. We have an amazing trainer, Tommy Europe. He's fantastic. He played for the CFL, and he's been a personal trainer for years, and he's great. And so been working with him to hopefully be able to get on screen more for the football stuff, because last year a fair bit of that was my double. So I'd like to, I mean, anything that I can do that's physically engaging. I just, it helps me connect to the character. I'd rather be doing something rather than sitting around. If I'm working, I want to be working, so definitely.
Yeah. I was wondering if you guys were going to get into more of the football stuff, considering Jonathan's injury.
Right.
When you got the sides, when audition came around and you found out this was the son of Superman, I mean, what did you expect versus what you saw on the page versus where you're sitting now?
Well, I expected, I mean, I'll just say this, first of all, I'm very pleasantly surprised. Not because I ever thought that the character was going to be bad or not likable or anything like that, or that the show was going to be a flop or anything like that at all. It's more just that I was expecting, number one, I was expecting the character to be smaller, and I was expecting Jonathan to be a little more one-dimensional and to be written as such. And I thought it would be kind of difficult to bring him to life and take those words off the page and put him into action. And it was at first. I mean, but I sort of had to discover who he was and realize that there was more to him than what was just on the page, because no matter what, it was always fantastic writing since day one. But until I actually kind of figure out who the character is, it's still just going to be this, even if it reads as a natural performance, it's like, where's that range of emotions and that actual story? Like, everybody has their story that they on a day-to-day basis, they're living with burdens and fears and hopes and dreams and all this. And it's like, if you can find that and you can bring that to the character and really feel that, like I was saying earlier, like if you can feel these things and live them, that's what just makes it such a excellent performance. And I still think I'm working on that. I mean, it takes time, and but I found that the writing got even better as I went on. I don't know if they were expecting Jonathan and Jordan to be as I guess sort of popular as the characters have been, and so for that reason, I think they had the option to they'd written it where it was actually genius, where they sort of had an option to make the characters a little larger and elevate them as they kind of did through the season, or bring them down a little bit if need be. So, but they kept it balanced in the beginning, so they had those options of sort of where to take the characters, because I think they were curious to see what me and Alex were going to do with them, and if we could handle this. If it was Alex's first lead role on any show, and I mean that's a massive one. I mean,
Yeah.
Alex is, and of course he's rocking it. It's unreal. Like if I'd come in at his age with that level of experience, I think I would have bombed it. I think I would have made a lot of mistakes. So I'm blown away. And of course, I haven't done that much either. But like, I've been acting a little longer and have worked on a few decent sized things before this, and it's definitely my biggest role by far. But I mean, just coming into this, it's really cool to just see that character come to life and work on that. But
is there a moment, obviously talking about other stuff you've done, Little Fires Everywhere, I mean there's a huge amount of work you've done, but something like this and going to Vancouver and being part of this 80-year mythos, was there a moment where you just walked in and you were like, oh hell, this is a lot bigger than I ever anticipated?
Every day, bro. Every day. I'm telling you, every day I'm like, I like disassociate on set. Like I'll start like out of body experience where I'm just like this is insane. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like
you could pull from that a little bit, because as Jonathan, I guess just the marvel of Superman being his dad, I mean, there's a little bit you could kind of work into that and weave with.
I agree. I agree. Always looking for those moments. Always looking for that. What can I use in my day, like emotionally or physically, that is gonna be in the character? If I can find those similarities, that's always really helpful.
I mean, if I'm playing that part and Tyler walks out in the suit, I'm like, well, I don't know what I'm doing now. I forgot my whole morning.
Exactly.
Line over and over.
Speaking as a fan of the show, I'm sure you're a fan of your own show. Like, what would, like, just outside of your character, what was like one of your favorite moments just watching the show this in season 1?
I really like, some of my favorite moments are when you have sort of this contrast when it's General Lane and Superman inside like the DoD building, and not like the tents when they set up in Smallville, but like the actual building, and you have the American flag behind Superman framed behind him, and then it flips to, it'll flip back and forth between them, this nice sort of cut just on their faces. It's very simple. They keep it very simple. And just personally for me, like, it's hard to look, it is kind of hard to look at it as just like a fan, like audience objectively, but right. It's like, to me, like, because even though it's like, now I'm not coming at it as an actor about my character, it's like I'm still coming at it being someone that spends a lot of time on set. So for me, what stands out is sort of the cinematography, what the DP did, what the director did, and I just think that, and what the writers did, and I just think that has always been something that's very visually appealing to me. I just think it's really symbolic and really cool, and it just always makes Tyler look really badass. But I mean, he always looks badass, but what else? I don't know. I mean, I just overall, I'm definitely a fan of the show. I think that I think it's got some really, really solid elements, and I think that the overall wholesomeness and the family aspect of the show, and really that pretty much anybody can watch it, is also very appealing. Not to me personally, I watch anything. I watch Peaky Blinders, Ozarks, Breaking Bad. Like, I love dark shows, but I just think it's really nice and refreshing. And I think a lot of people right now, with everything going on, a lot of dark times, a lot of nasty stuff, people being really nasty to each other, and I think people could use a show that brings a little light into their life.
Definitely. Once the John Henry Irons reveal came around, it was like reveal after like every week was just another. What was that guy like in read through for you guys? Just right. Constantly getting these. We're doing this. We're done, another one.
Right.
What was that like to kind of have to go through these cliffhangers week to week and know what you're building toward, and obviously can't share?
Right. No, most definitely. I mean, it's funny because we would get the scripts. I didn't even fully know what was going to happen until generally you get each script. Typically, I'd say at least a week. Sometimes it really depends. Sometimes you get a few in a row. So like right now we're working on episode 1. I might get 2 and 3 next. I might get 2, 3, 4. I might only get 2. 5 days before we start shooting, or a couple days before we start shooting. It all really depends. And there's always more drafts that come out with new rewrites, even sometimes in the midst of shooting an episode. So, it's difficult to say that I was, I knew exactly where everything was headed, what direction it was headed in, because I really didn't. I mean, until the very end. But The reveals, I think by the end of the first season, it was just like you said, cliffhanger after cliffhanger, and it was just sort of I don't know. I really liked it personally. I think it was quite fun to be shooting and be kind of just. It felt very like I felt very not only connected to the show, but I just felt like we were really like on fire, just
Yeah.
episode after episode. By the end, we'd been there. We'd had a few shutdowns because of COVID stuff, and we'd all been here 10 months without seeing our families or anything. It was like, all right, we're all ready to go home. But I love that nobody let their guard down and everybody still put in their best work on the show, if that makes sense. Like everybody was still on and going and cranking it out. And so those last few, I think we were all just really focused. We were just really focused on doing the best work possible in the shortest amount of time. So I don't know that I was too focused on the story at that point, like while we were shooting at least.
Right.
But then watching later, I mean, it's great. It was nice that it's sort of rewarding because you watch it later and you're like, oh, that's what we were doing. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
I see where they were going with that now.
Cleaned up real nice.
I know we the three of us every week we were like, that could have been the season finale right there. Like that could have been something to hold you over for 6 months until they come back. So it was kind of crazy just watching these very unique reveals. And Frank kind of said this a minute ago. You guys are kind of in your own sandbox in the whole Arrowverse thing. I mean, it's almost like a sequestered show versus the interconnectedness of Supergirl and those other ones. You guys have been able to build something on your own, literally out theoretically on the farm. Just you guys weaving the story together, disconnected from everything else. And I know COVID kind of played a part in that, but also I think what production was trying to do and what Todd was trying to do it just speaks to not only the writing, obviously, but what you guys have been able to bring life off the page. Yeah,
most definitely. I agree.
So what similarities do you think you have to Jonathan? Like, do you drive better than Jonathan, for instance? Can you throw a football through a swing?
Drive better, definitely. Easily. Fantastic driver right here, okay? I will say that. Excellent driver, superb. But never played football in my life.
Really?
Terrible. Oh, horrendous. I mean, I'm generally pretty bad at sports. Well, it's funny though. But I'm not. Like, I'm pretty athletic. And I love exercising. Absolutely love it. And, I was recently able. So funny story. I actually shattered my elbow. The reason that it actually wasn't the only reason. I think they were planning on giving me some sort of injury, as you guys saw that second arm break at the end of the season. But then they decided to make it that arm because I actually shattered my elbow and had to get surgery. So that's what that big old scar is. But it's funny because sorry, I just lost my train of thought for a second. Similarities between me and Jonathan. I'm sorry. Where was I going with that?
You feel like you're not athletic, but you like working out.
Oh, right. And so I finally got to be able to get back to the gym after months of not being able to work out, which is great. I think for season 2, Jonathan's getting back to football, and I think that there's no question that is going to be something that I want to work on, just strength and everything like that. But in terms of actual team sport playing, it's just I played soccer when I was super young. So that's not a similarity. You can cross that off the list. Not that into sports, but at the same time, I think the core personality traits of Jonathan being, honest and loyal and sort of stable in those ways, I would say I'm very alike in that way. I would say Jonathan's a little more serious than me. Probably a little less serious about schoolwork maybe, but like a little more serious about just stuff in general. I feel like he sort of sees himself on a path to not do something that's, he's going to have a job one day that doesn't necessarily involve anything that would be taught in public school. I think Jonathan is going to have a really niche, very interesting job when he's older. And I think that me, I was just always like, what am I going to have fun doing? And I think Jonathan would want to kind of leave his mark. This is interesting. I've never even like thought about some of this stuff, but I haven't really broken it down like this. So it's interesting. But yeah, I mean, I'd say there's a lot of ways that I'm similar to him, but there's some ways that I'm quite different as well. I think he's actually probably a little more introverted than I am as well. I'd say he's a nice mix. I'd say he can be extroverted when he wants to, but he's also probably more of a homebody. I think that, he enjoys talking to girls, hanging out with his friends, whatever, but he's like, I have to be out all the time, or I like have people over, whatever. Like I'm just, it's a distraction for me. If I got free time, I want to be with, people having a good time. I want to be with my friends. And I don't think Jonathan feels the need for that distraction. I think he'd rather focus on himself, his well-being, training, that kind of thing. I mean, obviously he loves football. I mean, that's really the biggest difference is that this kid's been playing football since he was a tiny kid. I mean, you saw the shot of him throwing the football at the tire swing, and it's like, I've never in my life. So that's that alone is just a massive difference. And because that's just, it sort of shows this different way that he grew up, and he was just so focused on that. And, me, I was focused on like theater and running, I was like doing track and cross country and stuff. So different beast for sure.
One thing I love that, and again, one thing that speaks to the writing, but wouldn't work as well if it wasn't you guys bringing it to life, is on so many of these shows that happen to be on this network or back on the WB when it was the WB, if two brothers got in a fight or got in an argument over something, there'd be weeks of drama and angst and just not speaking to each other. And there's always this, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to talk this out. We're going to figure this out. We're brothers, and we're going to, and I have to remind myself that you two aren't brothers like every week. I'm like, nope, they're actors, but they really enjoy being around each other, and it shows.
Well, that's good to hear. That's great to hear.
I think that's what made it so that's what made it so shocking when like Jonathan decided to put Jordan down with the sound of his voice in that one episode because he was so angry about how Jordan was at. Yeah.
Right.
That's not often that you see Jonathan break like that,
Definitely not. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like seeing that, because it shows it keeps the character very rounded and shows that human side, that he's not just a emotionless, perfect robot. He's got feelings. He just holds a lot of it back. I think that's also sort of contributes to him being somebody that would spend more time at home by himself in his room, sort of processing those emotions that he has, because he's very good at holding them in or hiding them to protect others or keep people motivated, keep morale up. But, in all reality, he feels just as much as anyone else, just as much as Jordan or Clark or Lois or anyone. So,
would you want to see an episode, maybe not permanently, but where Jonathan gets Jordan's abilities, where he has to deal with that for a week and see what it's like in his brother's shoes?
Most definitely. I think, that would be, if it was going to be temporary like that would be fine whenever. But if he were to somehow permanently get powers, I would want that to be down the road quite a ways. I think that it's a lot more interesting if he doesn't have powers, at least for a long time.
When
that's
you
another
first
one.
came, sorry.
Go ahead, Frank. No, you're good. I was just going to say that was another moment from the pilot where it was like, you would think that would drive some wedge, some divide, and it was like, nope, that just means my abilities are God-given. I'm just that good.
Right. Is that something you were expecting when you sort of signed on? That did it occur to you that like, well, if I'm playing Superman's son, I'm probably going to get powers at some point? Is that something that crossed your mind at any point?
I mean, most definitely. I mean, in the comics, John Kent is Superboy. Or what is it, Superman Prime, I think, as well. And he ends up there's one where I think he becomes Superman, and then there's obviously Superboy is the most common sort of rendition, but yeah, I mean, I don't it's funny because still, as far as I know, I'm not getting powers anytime soon, but I also think that it's not out of the question at the same time. I think that it's definitely a possibility, and especially temporarily. There's almost certainly, we've seen in Smallville, I always talk about, the red kryptonite. He gets the class ring, and he gets the motorcycle, and he's going crazy, and, getting
we
a
need
bunch
the
of
Jonathan
girls.
Breaks
and,
Bad episode.
Yeah, that'd be sick. It'd be great. It'd be great. But Yeah, I mean, I think that there's always a possibility for temporary powers for any character. You know, it's the world of Superman.
Yeah.
Kryptonite's everywhere, all different kinds. You know, now we've seen XK, we've seen regular kryptonite in it just in the show alone so far. So we know there's a couple different kinds, and one of those can give humans, regular humans, powers. And so you never know. It's definitely, but on top of that, I mean, obviously, you know, Jonathan could be a late bloomer at the same time and could be getting powers down the road. So really, you know, I wish I had all the answers, but I couldn't tell you even if I did. But I can tell you with honesty that even I don't know what's going to happen with that. But it would be exciting. It would be exciting just to even do the like, because you know, of course, it's CGI, so it's just Alex and me always make fun of like the, you know, the super hearing. You have to be like,
Yeah.
or like, you know, or the laser eyes. It's like that's what you do with the screen. Like
You've got it down
awkward.
pat. You've got it down perfect.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I'm telling you, I'd be a beast if I had powers. I would look so good on camera. I know exactly. I've seen everyone else practicing, so now I know exactly what to do.
I've been watching. I got it down.
Maybe we'll have like a Freaky Friday thing with you and Jordan where you swap powers or something.
I like that.
Perfect.
So obviously the world gets a little bigger at the end of the season finale, with Natalie arriving on Earth Prime as it was, and no spoilers. I know I'm not going to ask you for spoilers, but what is that contrast like between Jordan, Jonathan, and Natalie now going into this season? What does it look like for those characters?
Well, I can't give away too much, but
Right.
I will say that there is definitely a Natalie storyline coming up, and they are going to develop a relationship, all three of them, and get to know each other more. And I'm excited because Taylor, who plays Natalie, is freaking awesome, and she nailed it last season, and I think she's going to be, you know, in this season just as much, if not more. So I think that you guys are going to see more of Natalie and see a backstory there, and it's going to be very exciting stuff. I'll say that.
Was that cool to read that reveal happened when you guys were doing the read through for that episode and realizing what kind of cliffhanger that was going to shape season 2 to be?
Most definitely, it was super exciting. Yeah. And I like being there and seeing the ship, and they put the ship she crashed in. Oh, that was so much fun. It was a good day. I
imagine a lot of the finale was good. Just the amount of extras that were used, and I know in the time of COVID that's got to be grueling. All those tests, your nose is probably raw.
Oh yeah, it's rough. At least they don't do the nasal pharyngeal. It's just the nasal, luckily, but still 3 times a week. It's tough situation.
I don't like it.
It sucks. It's awful.
The relationship that you know Jonathan and Jordan and Natalie have cultivated, but I actually want to take a step back and talk about the relationship, the sort of triangle friendship with Jordan and Jonathan and Sarah.
Right.
The three of you. I mean, similar to what we were saying before, but you and Alex having this like on-screen chemistry. The three of you seem to have this on-screen chemistry that it really seems like a legit. You guys play a very natural seeming, friendship, the three of you. And it's kind of magic to watch.
Really? Well, I appreciate that. I mean, we're definitely, we're close with Indy as well. She's been here a while, and we've definitely hung out with her many, many times. And I think if that shines through, and it's probably, again, like I said earlier, definitely. I mean, I know for a fact with me and Alex, but I'd say with Bitsy and Tyler as well. I mean, the more time you spend with someone, the closer you're going to be, the more comfortable it's weird because you would think it's acting. It doesn't really matter. You're playing someone else. So it doesn't matter if they're good and you're good, you can just make the scene good, but that's not really how it is, because I don't know. When you know someone,
you know how to read them.
You're right. I mean, you can feel what they're trying to convey in their performance, and it allows you to be closer to them in the performance and give them something back to play off of. So I think that definitely that would contribute to anything you see on screen with, especially me, Alex, Indy, the Kin family, anything like that at all. It's going to be a big contributing factor. Yeah.
A lot of time, especially on these serialized shows and comic book shows and stuff, a lot of people in front of the camera like to get behind the camera? Would you want to direct? Is that something down the line, season 5, something you'd like to see happen?
I don't know. It's very stressful.
Yeah.
Very stressful.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And the hours and like, it's just, I'm sure it pays well and I'm sure it would be fun, but that's a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. I might start with, maybe a little AD work, a little assistant work and little PA work even. I can, just a small job just to check it out and see what it's all about, and maybe be able to take a step back and detach and sort of see what's going on behind the scenes a little more. Because I mean, I do, but I'm also I'm doing my job, and I am separate from a lot of the action that's going on behind the camera. So,
well, I asked because you've already got some of those moments down. I remember punching the log, you guys in the background. One of the best moments of the whole season.
I think they apparently had to fight to leave that in. Like Todd
really?
had to be like, yes. I apparently it was not a fight, but like, it was some people didn't, they wanted to keep it clean. So you're focused on Clark and not show us in the background. And I think Todd was like, no, I think like you should use this. This is great.
Yes.
And there's another moment with Alex where he sort of flicks me. Like he points at my shirt and then he goes like that. And because we do that to each other like all the time on set, just walking around, I'll be like, yo, like, dude, like wardrobe's gonna be so mad at you. You spilled something on your shirt, and then just get him real quick. and so he was like, watch this. And I was like, what? And he's like, just watch in the scene. And then he got me. And I was like, yo, you got to keep doing that. Like they've got to put this in, and they did, which I think was great.
Love that made it in. Like those are the kinds of moments that just feel so real. Like it just comes because it's born out of reality.
Very true.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And I love it sounds like you do feel more comfortable, say, in front of the camera than behind. And I love hearing you sort of break down, the differences between you and Jonathan and how you are as a person, how Jonathan is as a character. How thinking about that, because clearly you've given that a lot of thought as like who Jonathan is and why he makes the choices that he does. What have you given thought to sort of what aspects of Jonathan as a person did he learn from Clark, and what aspects of his personality did he get from Lois? Because clearly he's got some of both of them, and the way you play it is sort of some of both of them. But what's your sort of thought process, as an actor, as you think about that?
Most definitely. I mean, I kind of touched on it earlier in the way of like I was sort of talking about how he's got that strength and that perseverance and that willingness that loyalty and that willingness to commit, and also massive commitment to his family above all else. And I think that a lot of that comes from Clark. I mean, that comes from both too. I mean, I think Lois has all of those traits as well, no question. But specifically, like if you really want to talk about differences, I'd say he's a lot more like laid back, like Clark. Like he's not very emotional, but he's probably more like Lois in the way of what does he have in common with Lois? That's a good question. He's very, very determined and focused. And I think that's something that you just see a lot of in Lois. I think that the determination to do right by his brother, not giving up on anyone. Not that Clark would, again, but it's just the thing is Lois and Clark actually have quite a bit in common. They're quite similar, even though obviously one's an alien and one's not. But he has that commitment, and I think that is especially a trait that would probably come from Lois, just because of the fact that I can't even imagine the stress and the pressure it would be to be in a family of super people and you're the only one without powers. And now him and Lois sort of have that they can share with each other, because before it was just Lois wondering if she was going to be the only one in the family without powers. Now she finds out that, oh, well, probably I got somebody else here that's without powers. And Jonathan at least has somebody that he can share in that with, and talk to that. And I think before, it's funny because before they found out their dad was Superman, I feel like maybe Lois was closer to Jordan and Jonathan was closer to Clark. And that sort of flipped on its head. I think now I'm going to be closer to Lois, and Jordan's going to be spending more time with Clark because they have more in common now in that way.
I was talking about that episode and holding the wrench, and you kind of got to shine in that one. But Robin, you had a really good question about holding the wrench.
I mean, you had to go through like seeing the alternate universe mom killed by alternate universe dad, nearly getting killed in the RV, and then there's just this big blowout with Lois, and then the reconnection at the end, that tearful conversation, like so many emotional hurdles. Like, do you think that was probably one of the most emotionally, I don't know, taxing or even fulfilling parts of filming this season?
Both. Yeah. Taxing and fulfilling. Fulfilling when I was done with it, you know. Fulfilling when I knew that I'd done my best work, I think, but definitely pretty taxing, no question, but really fun as well. You know, like I was saying, just working with Bitsy on those scenes, she's phenomenal. So it's really, I mean, it's just a pleasure to work with someone that you know, to look them in the eye and do work with somebody that's a true professional. Like, he's been doing this for so many years, and just I mean, it's just, I don't know, it's unlike anything else. It's weird. You get into it and you're there in the scene, and it's like stepping into another reality for a minute. It's weird. It's really cool. Especially scenes like that are just so emotionally raw. Those are probably like I was saying, you know, those are probably my favorite kind of scenes.
On the
you get handed a script like that. I wonder if are you like, here we go. This is going to be good to sink my teeth in, or are you like, oh my God.
Lois Lane yells at
both.
me.
Yeah.
Well, on the flip side of that, what do you feel the kind of dynamic is between Jonathan and Sam? Because those were some other moments in the back half of the season that you got to shine alongside Dylan.
Oh, most definitely. Oh, Dylan's great. Yeah, I mean, some really, really solid scenes. You know what? I just realized I've barely seen Dylan since I was back. Have I even seen Dylan?
Is that a spoiler? It's not a spoiler.
No, definitely not a spoiler. Not a spoiler. No, definitely not. I haven't seen some of the other cast as well, but I just, not because they're not here. I just mean, you know, it's only been back for a few weeks.
Right.
But no, I don't. I mean, I just suddenly was thinking about that. That's funny. But no, I mean, I had a blast last season working with Dylan. Some really good scenes there towards the end, where I think it was just sort of. I mean, it was. I think that Sam grew to respect Jonathan. I think that he definitely he saw that Jonathan had grown up quite a bit just in the last few months. I think he appreciated that, and that's why, you know, in the end you see that Sam has a lot of good in it. He has a lot of good traits, and there's nothing, you know, he is looking out for his family, even if he's made some mistakes in the past, and watching Dylan sort of go through this guilt and this like these emotions, and it was just really like, it was almost painful to watch sometimes, like even when I would not be on screen with him. It was sometimes his performances were really not like difficult to watch, like, oh, I actually need to turn this off, but just like you could feel that pain with him too, you know what I mean? Like just knowing that he'd done wrong, knowing that he was making a mistake, he was paying more attention to his job than his family, and that was many times. And I think Jonathan, it took sort of this high school age kid to come in and snap him out of that. And I remember specifically that one scene where we're outside of the DOD, and I'm like, because you keep saying you're doing the right thing, but really you're not at all. You're just being, you know, you're being selfish, and this is not right. And that scene, I remember just we did that one. It took me a while. You know, he was nailing it every time, but it took me a little while to sort of get in the grind of it, and figure that scene out. I remember it was an especially tricky scene, one of the trickier scenes, strangely, you know. And I don't think I would have guessed that from reading it on the page, but when I actually got there and started working, you know, going and diving in on the day, it was a whole different beast. It definitely threw me for a loop. And but yeah, I mean, just working with Dylan, I mean, it's just great. He's great, and I can't wait. I can't wait for more. It's gonna be sweet.
Do you still find yourself getting caught up in the magic of, I mean, just in filming in general, when you see the finished product versus when you're standing on Main Street Smallville and 98% of those buildings are just a front, and there's nothing behind them. But then you
What?
watch, and I'm sorry, Robin, I hate to break it to you.
That's a spoiler.
The diner's real, the newspaper's real, everything else is fake.
Yep.
But is that always just still a little wild to you to watch? You're like, oh, finished product, nicely done.
Yeah, it's weird for sure. Because you would think in the moment you would be like, oh, that's fake, that's not real, that's green screen. No, not really. It really is that. It's put together. I think even for people that would guess things like that or that have that knowledge, that's why there's things like a soundtrack. Gives you a little distraction, keeps you engaged, keeps you in it, keeps you in the story, and stuff like that's really important. Special effects, good special effects, good shots, good cinematography that keeps you engaged. Keep it simple, keep it efficient, and keeps you with the story. Keeps you want to know what's going to happen next, even if you already know what's happening next. If that makes sense, I think that's the genius of a good show, and I think that Superman has a lot of the elements of that. I think that. First of all, I'm a huge fan of the soundtrack. I don't know about you guys, but I actually really like
the score is so good.
It's really.
They need to hurry up and release it.
Oh yeah, sweet.
It's about time.
But yeah, no, I definitely. It is like a wow sometimes. Seeing and also just seeing scenes that sometimes I won't work for 5 days in a row, and what are they doing that whole time? It's not like, they're still doing stuff, but it's just stuff that I'm not there for. I don't get to see. And so it's really cool to then be able to watch it later and see it brought to life off the paper. A
couple more, to get back onto football for a moment.
He said he didn't play.
Well, I was wondering, you did say you had an elbow injury during the season. I wondered if is that why the football stuff kind of stopped after Broken Trust? It was like episode 6. That's when Jonathan got his injury. Was it as a result of your own injury, or it was just coincidence?
Actually, that was before I broke my elbow. So the first injury that Jonathan had was more like his broken wrist from Jordan hitting it. That was 100% planned all the way through. Towards the end of the season, there was the car crash. Jonathan, everybody was going to get injured, including Sam and John, but so Sarah and Jordan weren't getting or not as badly of injured, not a permanent injury, whereas Sam and John sort of got really banged up in it. But no, that was the reason that they actually made that a broken arm, is because I did have a broken arm. That last one, but the first one was 100% just. Which is funny because both times, long before I broke my arm, the first injury was my right arm and it was screwed up, which I find super funny. So it was kind of funny that then again, then they're like, oh, now we have to repeat the same injury because he actually has his arm screwed up.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
The other football question I had for you is I wasn't sure if this was like a funny in-joke from the writers or if you guys intentionally did this, but Jonathan is like the incoming QB. He's all excited and he's number 12, but then Jordan gets powers and decides to join the team. And all of a sudden he walks in and he's number 24. So was it intentional to make it that Jordan was now twice the person that his brother is now? Or I just thought is that
careful.
Brutal. That's a roast.
Right?
That's a hell of a roast right there. I no clue. No clue.
Okay.
But now that you pointed it out, I have to think that's probably not, because here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Stuff like that, like a big number on your back. It's just football, but it's not. There's always a little forethought there. So I think that it's funny you say that. I never noticed, but I think that has to be intentional. Maybe not. Right. It might not be that. It might not be symbolic of that is, but it could be, and it would be naturally. That's the conclusion you would jump to. I feel like naturally. As
much other stuff as they've thrown in, Easter egg, visual style stuff this season, I wouldn't be a bit surprised. Obviously you guys are filming 201 right now, and I know the episode title came out and I completely went blank on
What Lies Beneath.
What Lies Beneath,
which ghosts right out of the gate.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
we're gonna find out Clark murdered somebody in the bathtub. It's gonna be this whole thing.
Just Bates Motel.
Start. It starts. What are you looking forward to most of the season? I know you said football, and you kind of hoping to work a little bit more and do more of your stunts, but Jonathan specific, what are you hoping to see shine in season 2?
I want to see Jonathan. I want to see more of the side of Jonathan that we didn't see last season. I want to see more of Jonathan struggling, like openly, and I want to see him have to. I just want to see Jonathan be tested. I think that's.
You don't think he was tested enough?
No, for sure. But I'm talking about. But think about it. He's a strong character, right?
Oh yeah.
So I want to see him like get tested, like pushed to the limit.
Did you see? Did you? I'm sure you get tagged and stuff on Twitter and Instagram. There was a fantastic meme toward the finale. They had put your head on somebody. Was it Wheel of Fortune or Price is Right? But it was all these just terrible things on the wheel that had happened to Jonathan all season.
That's hilarious. It's so funny. Yeah, just one bad thing after
just
another.
one thing after another. Broken heart, broken arm, just over and over again.
Nasty.
But yeah. But you've got a lot to look forward to this season, I think.
It's gonna be good. No, it's gonna be good. Some positives, some negatives. It's a good season. And even aside from my storyline, it's just like it's packed. You guys are gonna love it. It's gonna be really, really good.
And the show now is streaming on HBO Max, the full first season with all the unedited episodes. With all the extended scenes that didn't broadcast on regular air. So that's good. Jordan, we appreciate you coming on. We can't wait to see what season 2 holds in store, and we look forward to watching it when it airs, hopefully in January. Is that what we're looking forward to, I think? Yeah, January. So we look forward to it. Thanks, man.
Good stuff. Thank you guys so much.